deploy on all the workload. Actually, it's not only specific to Citrix component, but you can also use it on all other infra servers. You can use on NetScalers, or you can in most of the enterprises we use some kind of monitoring tool. And what Citrix Uber does, it actually, it has a lot of algorithms, it has a lot of mechanism which fetches all those matrices from your servers, your Citrix applications, even NetScaler, and where you can integrate it, and you can store all these into the Splunk, or you can use Elastic Layer, or you can use other kind of tools. There are numbers of applications which supports, mostly the Splunk is used a lot actually, and Elastic Layer is also in the market from very long time and very used actually. There are other log based servers available in the market actually, which can be utilized. For more details, we can look into this, what are being supported with the Citrix Uber actually. But in my lab, what we are going to do actually, we are going to do a very intensive exercise on building up whole infrastructure and then implementing Uber, setting up Splunk server. I can show in a list which we would be doing it actually. So if you see the list, we would be building up an environment. I already have an VMware workstation running on my machine, on my server actually, I would say. And I already had all those components running, but I have cleaned them up. And because we want to start it from scratch, so we will be building a domain controller, we will be building an Citrix delivery controller server, and then we will be building a storefront server. We will be deploying a VDA. We will be deploying a Splunk on a Windows server and configure it actually. And we will also talk about how we can get the Splunk binaries, and we will configure the Splunk server as well. Or I would say we would prepare it actually for monitoring and collecting logs. We will deploy the Uber agents on the servers, all the servers we have deployed before. We will configure the GPO for Citrix Uber agent, and we will also see different ways of deploying Uber configuration. And that's very interesting, and I think you guys will really enjoy looking into this and learning it actually, I would say. We will also deploy a NetScaler, and we will also integrate NetScaler with Citrix Uber. And all these data which we will collect out from environment will go to the Splunk. In Splunk, we will also deploy Uber applications in Splunk so that we can see dashboards. And in those dashboards, there are a lot of data actually in represented in a very good way, so that you can drill down, go very deep into the system and see what is the problems actually. There are a lot of reports. If I talk about more deep, actually, there are a lot of security. There is a security dashboard actually, which we can look in, and then we will configure alerting, and in the last we will more go deep dive into all kind of reports which we are collecting, how these reports data can help us in troubleshooting issues actually, and capacity based reports will give us more information about how you can project what is the utilization of your environment, and you can make some kind of projection actually. So before Uber actually, there are I would say many of the organizations, they were spending a lot of money on using another monitoring tool for Citrix environment and they were paying a lot of cost for this. Obviously, Citrix Uber is included with the Citrix licensing model, so you don't have to pay any single cost for this. Doesn't it make it very interesting? I have done an implementation of Citrix Uber with one of the biggest enterprise customer, and with small customer, I'm happy to say they are very delighted with the product, and everything is about cost actually. And then with this, when I say that it's a free with the Citrix licensing, why don't we use it actually? And then yeah, in this whole series, we will talk about how this work, and we will go, there will be more lots of talk about solution which Citrix has built, Citrix Uber. And yeah, and I think you have already enjoyed my FS Logic series, which was released before. um, and there will be more series are coming actually. We will be also preparing a series for IGEL thin clients. We will be also looking into Elux thin client solution. And yeah, and obviously cybersecurity, ethical hacking videos will also start growing up now. So don't forget to watch next video, which will be part 1 for building delivery controller and other Citrix components, so that we can deploy Uber agents on this. And yeah, and if you want to really read more about it, definitely we will go through with everything in our videos. But I would encourage you to actually go with the Citrix website. And here you can see a lot of documentation about Citrix Uber. As I said, it's a data driven. You will be able to see a lot of dashboards actually, where you can see the utilization of the machines, users, each user session deep dive details, each application based deep dive details, all the event logs, alerting system. As I said, you can do an deep dive when it could. You can use it as a proactive tool as well. Um, you can do capacity planning, application security. As I said, it has a security tools dashboards as well. And yeah, it's a lot to say in the starting, because it would be good when you go through with all the things with me in the series and learn. And I think if you have such an environment or infrastructure, you can build this. I would say follow the video, try to build an environment in your test labs or wherever is possible, and learn things. Yeah, I hope you will enjoy. Hello, friend. In the last video, we talked about Citrix Uber agent. And in this video, we will work on building a Splunk server and look into some of the settings which we will configure in this video. Why we need Splunk? Splunk has multiple versions. One is the cloud-based version, and one is on-prem based, which is called Splunk Enterprise. So how we go there actually? You go to the Splunk site, splunk.com. If you see my screen, and then you will create one account, and in the account you will when you will create account, you will select an option trial and download, and then you will fill up the information, email address and passwords, and then you will get it into your email. And then and when you will confirm, you will get an access to the Splunk. So we are on the screen where I'm going to download the Splunk Enterprise 9.4.3 version. Let's download it now. And by the way, I have built a lab actually where I'm running Citrix, I'm running domain controllers. You can see there are multiple stuffs, VDA and DDCs, Citrix DDCs, and we will also build an autoscaler. So right now we are going to build Splunk server. And then later we will, in the next video, we will install a Citrix Uber agent on the machines and point it to the Splunk server. And then we will also look into the how you can create configuration for it, how you can configure client. That's very interesting video about Splunk. But let's focus on installing Splunk on one machine and make it ready for Citrix Uber in this video. So now the Splunk setup is downloaded. You can see it here. And I am running Splunk. I'm going to install Splunk on a Windows machine. So let's go to the file and install it on this Windows machine. It must be in my download section folder actually. There it is. So I don't need Splunk in the backend now, the website, and then I will click on install it. I'm logged in as an admin. So yeah, and installation is straightforward. If you need to customize it, you can do, but let's go with the default installation. I will have my user account and password. Hit shortcuts on the start menu and install. This video is mostly for Splunk. Um, and there, as we talked in the last video, there are multiple log servers options available actually, but we will see if we get time into look into other options. But let's complete the Splunk stuff here. It's doing some pre-checks on the machine. I have to make sure I have space available on my machine. Yeah, there is enough space. So the installation may take 10 minutes, depends on the configuration of the machine. The installation of the Splunk is underway. You can see this on the Splunk server, it's taking time as I said. We can download the Uber agent because we will install the Uber apps into the Splunk application. To do this, we need to go to the Citrix download section, select the Citrix observability, and then we will get the latest version for Citrix Uber, and we will install on one machine so that we can get the apps which will install on Splunk server application actually. So under Citrix observability, Citrix Uber agents product software, and the latest version is 7.4. So we'll get it now. And what it has, the download package contains Uber UXM, ESA, and Splunk apps dashboard. So let's get it. Let's check what is happening for the Splunk now. Meanwhile, yeah, I think we are about to finish. Yeah, Splunk is ready now. Means the application has been installed on the server. So here comes the first look. It runs on port 8000 localhost. Let's flip back and the ROBR application agent is also downloaded on our another machine. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Uh, let's let's install the Uber agent first. I think Splunk is taking time. Yeah, let's uncompress it. Whether we will install Uber agent on all other R machines or even Citrix, the domain controllers and the file servers. So we will see all kind of data which we popped up in Splunk under Uber apps. So now we will log in. Let's save it now. So here we have apps and we can see we have, yeah, I think we need to install our, we don't have much apps here. So we will install our new apps here. This is just a first installation. Go to our folders, and these are the apps we need actually to install in the Splunk. As I said, we have some, you will get some the configuration file for Elasticsearch, as event hubs, but we are not going to touch those stuffs here in this exercise. So let's download, copy these all four files on our Splunk server. It didn't copy, so let's do it again. Copy. Yeah, I understand. We need to copy from, I think we need to look our domain controller machine and get this file locally copied. And the tier 10. And I can copy them into my C drive so it's easy for me to move in. I don't have to look here and there. So we are on the Splunk server and we will go to our domain controller machine and get the Splunk apps for base folder. We'll copy it to our Splunk server. Now we have files on the Splunk server. So let's go to our Splunk application and go to manage apps. and we will click on install app from file. And we will go and click on our C drive temp. Let's pick the first one. Load. One is done. Let's pick another one. We have to install all four of Splunk apps of Uber into the system. Let's install rest of the two. Yeah, we'll click on restart later because we have to install one more app. And that's Uber, the last one. And after this, we will restart the Splunk server. I mean, restart the Splunk application. All the services will restart on that action. So now let's wait. It's installing Uber agent search. We got some error, read time error. Okay, what is that error says? Let's try one more time. Maybe we should restart the server. Okay, so we will restart the Splunk server and then we'll try again. Let's restart the Splunk application. Yes, restart it. And then we will install our last one app. So we see error in the real scenario. What happens if I've not seen this issue before, but let's see if we succeed with installation afterwards. They need switching. So we restarted our Splunk server, and then we will again try to install our the last app which was giving error. I hope we don't get this error now. Yep, that was the issue. I should have restarted after installing one app when it was asking. Restart later and try to install another apps. Gave us error, but yeah, it was a quick fix. Restart the Splunk server and I mean Splunk application and then try it again. So now we have installed the Splunk Uber apps in the Splunk, and we can see we have got two more apps, which is Uber UXM and ESM. Now it is blank, there is no data, but before we will install agents and configure agents to report to the Splunk server, we need to look into some forwarder settings. Don't worry, there is no data coming. So now let's go to the settings, and then we say go to the data models. You need a high configuration on the Splunk server, otherwise it's slow sometimes. Let's increase the memory of the server. So now we're in data model section and we click on project, and then we will go on our um, settings, and we see where all the Uber apps are here actually. We could see the data models and they are globally enabled, and let's go to settings again. And we need to go into the data input section now. We have seen our tables which are reported into the system under data models. Now we will define the settings for um, configure so that we can receive data in Splunk from the agents. So here we have two ways to do it. There are two settings we could use. One is the TCP, or another is called HTTP. Yeah, HTTP event collector here, and TCP. TCP is enabled. If you see it now, and this is enable and it use port 19500. But it depends what your organization is using. Some organization use HTTP or HTTPS, or some use TCP ports or Splunk to receive data. So we'll go to the data models again. And we will look into our HTTP data collector settings. You will see it has a zero inputs defined. So we'll go to the HTTP event collector here. As it said, you can receive data over. So now we are in the HTTP data event collector configuration. We need to click on new token and we need to create a token for Uber agent. And we will write something called Uber agent here. And we will click on, we don't have to select anything here. And yeah, and then we will click on next up here. Yeah, sorry. And then, so we will write Uber agent and then we will click on next. And then we have many selected indexes. We will use the default settings. The default index is Uber agent index. So that's right, correct. And then we will click on review. You'll see the settings here. That looks fine and submit. And then we will go to our settings again. It means token has been created and these are your token value. You would need this data when you are configuring agents. So I will just make note of it actually. And that's not a hurry. You can always pick it later actually from here. In our next video, we'll talk about how you configure Uber agent via GPU or via file servers, configuration to central repository. So there are many ways actually. So now we will check again in our Uber agent actually, and we will go to there and data inputs. And you will see it says one connect collector configured actually, the inputs. You will go there and you can see you can still talk. As I said, there was, if you want to copy the token, you can copy there. Otherwise, you can also take it from here. But you see the status is enabled. We will go into the global configuration here. We will say enabled. Yeah, that's right. You can use different, if you want to change some settings, you can change the settings here. We don't want to make any changes. The HTTP port is this. If you want to use SSL, the port will change for SSL. And then save. That's it. So this is a very short about how you configure Splunk and some settings. And don't forget to watch our next video, which is about installing Uber agents on the machines and look into the ways to configure Uber agent. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Hello, friend. So in our third video, we will talk about how to configure Citrix Uber agent. There are many ways to do it. Uh, the best way I would say is the central config. which is the Citrix recommended way. When you are deploying it on multiple machines, it's better to keep configuration in one location and distribute to all the machines from there, so you have better control over this. Since from 7.4, Citrix has changed a little bit agent configuration method. So we will use a tool which is Uber config tool for doing all the configuration. You can download that tool from Citrix website. As it says, you can go on citrix.com, downloads and Citrix observability, and then you download the Uber agent config and support tools. We have already downloaded the binaries for Citrix 7.4 agent and the tool which we will use. And yeah, another method is through GPO, but in that way, you won't get much of the ESA configuration, or you need to find another way of replicating those definition files actually with all the agents. So I won't recommend that, but definitely we use some of the GPOs with the central config file management settings which are encoded in the GPO. That is the third option, and I mostly use these options to deploy configuration on all the machines in the environment. You could have different ways of configuration file uh, creation, create and do on deployments. There is no license file requirement to do this central config file management deployment for the Uber agent. But let's start with our first, which is the normal. We will install the agent on one machine, and then we will use tools to generate configuration, and then we will go through with little bit configuration file manually. So let's start with our first area, deploying agents on one of the machine. As we said, we have already deployed a Citrix lab quickly, and everything is working. Storefront is configured. We don't have Netscaler at the moment now. In some of the videos we have done Netscaler. That will be also done later, but I would be able to show you how you configure Netscaler configuration, what configuration you need to do in the config file to fetch Netscaler configuration uh, and Netscaler events into the Splunk via Uber agent. So let's go with the simple stuff. This is my domain controller. As I said, we can monitor all the Windows machines through Citrix Uber. It's not only Citrix-based components. Uh, we will go with our deployments, and then we will go with our endpoint stuffs. And we are doing this POC, this video with the Splunk. If you have Elasticsearch, you could definitely use uh, that in your environment, or you have Azure Monitor or other solutions. There are n number of solutions which supported by Uber. You can read on the Citrix website. So let's go and start with our easy stuffs. Installing agents on the my domain controller. It's a not Citrix machine. It's a normal Windows machine. Yeah, it will set up permissions and all the delete existing configuration if you had an Uber installed on your machine. Mm. Yeah, I have in the Splunk, you have seen that we have configured HTTP event collector. We have a key for that. We have configured TCP. We will be using TCP actually we are not using UDP. You could change some environment. Some companies can change the ports numbers actually, but we're gonna use a default one port, which is 19500. I think we are there very soon. Here it is. We have one inputs. In the last video, we created this configuration. If you missed this out, go back and look into last video. The port number is this. Yeah. So let's start, and where agent has been installed. Now we will see if we have installed the Uber agent on our Windows machine. Yes, it is. I can check if I have, oh, there is no port blocking between, just to verify the connections. PowerShell. So I will go to the PowerShell node. Now we'll just testnet the, yeah, it's a lab hyphen splunk 01. Let's see, there is no port blocking. Then uh, failed. So now we are able to ping our Splunk server. There was some wrong gateway configured on the Splunk server that caused the issue. And now we will check our communication once again. Now we can see the communications through. So this was just an be sure that there is no blocking. And now we will go back to our initial installation of the Uber which we were doing. Because there was some troubleshooting in the middle. Okay, so we install the Uber agent, and Uber agent must be installed in this location. Right, there is no configuration file. Then where is the configuration file? Right, this is empty. So what to do now? As I said, in 7.4, Citrix has changed the methodology of configuration file. In 7.3, if you install it, you get the configuration file in the installation while you install. You will find it there, and you copy it from program files to program data. And then yeah. But then we use tools actually to do a configuration, and then we run design administrator. We say configure Uber agents, and why I would recommend using this tool, because Citrix updates all the new configuration file, and all the ESAs and all these definitions are placed in the GitHub directory. So if you are using this tool to configure the Uber agent or generating the Uber agent configuration file, this will download the latest definition files from Citrix GitHub. And then we are using, yeah, as I said, if you have Elasticsearch or different systems, but we use Splunk, and we using protocol HTTP. And in my environment, I have a lab slk01 dot, and the port number is 19500. And then it needs a token number. And for the token number, we need to go to our Splunk actually. I don't have a license file, otherwise you could define the license file here. But if you have a license file, you can define the location of the license file in here, and then it will pack that license file into the configuration for the agents. But when we will use C centralized config way of configuring Uber agents, the third option talk about, there we don't need a license file. Here it will allow us to go without license file, but yeah. Disable certification validation. Then I would just need a token key, which we created in the last videos. Go to the settings of this. Okay, here. Need to go here, data inputs. Yeah. You already have a Citrix. We installed the Splunk app for Uber in our last video. If you haven't seen that, go back and see those videos, and you will see how we did that. But let's wait for the configuration file, the token key to show up so that we can use that token key here. I'm sure I haven't saved it last time here, but yeah, it's in the system, so don't worry, we will get it now. System is taking a little time because we rebooted all the machines. Now we go to the distribute data collector. And here is my token key, which I needed. Come on, show up. Copy. Go back here. Paste here. Copied. Copy token keys. Okay, I need to save it into some of the notepad and then move it to document folders. Okay, and then I will save this file here. So yeah, the domain controller name is something different. We just leave it. And now we will configure the origin config file. And that's what we see it here. Yeah, we were trying to copy the file. And then we can copy paste this file to our 192.168.1 and then C drive. And then we place in temp. So now we have the configuration, the token into our C drive, and then we take it from here. We paste it on this, and then you will click on apply. This tool will download all the new definitions from internet from this GitHub directory. You can see the logs here. It says no lessons file. Okay. All right. Now we close it out. And now we should be able to verify the data. Uh, mm. So we have configuration. Now these all files are downloaded from generated by the tool. And here is the main files actually we added. So if I go with this file, in this file, there are a lot of settings you need to read about what you want to enable and not. But let's go to the main. Here it is. This is the receiver settings we did tool. If you want to monitor a net scaler, you have a section about this. Here is the section for the net scaler. You can read this, and then you can define the configuration here. You can get configuration according to the requirement. You can also do an Citrix cloud monitoring with Uber. Like you can use Uber to fetch Citrix data from Citrix cloud and show into the what is it Splunk. I've done it, so I know how it works. You just need to make sure that you have a machine which is talking to the Citrix cloud. The ports are open, and that machine will be work as an mediator between. I call it log collector now. So you can use the same log collector file to talk to the netscaler and fetch the logs, and then forward to the Splunk and do the same machine can do the for the Citrix cloud as well. So you don't need multiple machines. Or you can use any of the less load machines to do this. We will talk about it more in the later video. So this is all about our first option, how you uh, do a configuration for the Uber agent locally. Don't forget to watch next video about how we will do it through the GPO and central configuration option, which is the third. Hello friend. So in another video, we will look into how you configure Citrix Uber agent via GPO or central config management. So first look into the GPO. When you, in the last video, we installed Uber agent on one of the machine and we did configured manually. But now we will look into the GPO. In the same binary, when you install it, you get an file, the GPU idiom template file actually, which you can import into the system in your group policy console actually. So if you remember, we downloaded it before 4.3, and then we have components, and then we have group policy, and then we have backup. So you can import data value of optimized group policy, which have some value change for data collection, so that you don't fill up your Splunk server with a lot of data. And the default one is here. And then you need an ADM template. You need to import an ADM template into your group policy, so that you get those settings which you see in my how you import the templates. There could be many ways according to your environment, but in lab we did it. We copied the configuration file into C Windows. I'm on a domain controller. So we go to the policy definition folders, and then here we have copied the Uber template files. Here it is. So, and then you will see the GPU settings reflecting for this, and we will look into this. I have already imported the settings for optimized, and I think you can look how you import GPU settings through internet. It's very easy. You can just create one policy and import settings actually, and then point it to the path of the GPU here. And then you will click next, and all the settings will get imported into this. Then you have it. And then you can target these settings. You can look, there are a lot of settings are reflecting. There are some settings in receivers you need to enable it. Actually, I have not configured it, but yeah, because I don't want to use these settings in the production systems, or I won't recommend doing it until unless you have very hard requirement of doing it. The best way is to use central config file management. But here are the settings which you see. Here we have receiver settings actually. So you can define uh, what will be receiving your the Splunk server details here, road or rest token, and the settings actually. But we don't have to use it. But this is how you get through GPU. But if you don't want to use GPU, and the best recommended way is using CCFM. So let's look into the CCFM now. And it's quite easy. We already know that we have configured one config here actually. We have a working configuration which we copied into my server, into the some of the folders. I have to do one share as well. I will talk about the share. So it's in my C drive. Temp Uber config. This is one share which I have created actually, and where I have copied the Uber config UA archive backup file, the bundle I call it. And you can access it via, yeah, here. And here's the file. How we create this bundle file actually, it's quite easy. You take one configured package actually, which is like this, and I can do it right here. So I have one config file. I have the working config in one of my directory. Yeah, Uber config. This is whole configuration. So the settings you need to, you will fetch all the definitions and configuration from Citrix GitHub, and then you will configure uber.config file with all the settings where the Splunk servers, and then you will just take that working configuration as your golden configuration, copy somewhere, and there are some command you need to use it. You can find those command in Citrix article, and I can do a demo of that actually quickly. So you need to go to the PowerShell actually to run those commands. Let's open it up. It's slow a little, but yeah, it's opening. Yeah, the command prompt has opened. Two of them. We move to PowerShell stuff. Oh, there are many opening. And the command we use is called, let me copy in the notepad so we have it. These are very simple command. So we know that we have configuration copied in my C temp, cd temp, cd uber config folder there. If you'll see, I have all the configuration files in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just compress this folder into a one temporary directory. And it is compressing it. We will see this file here very soon. And this is my working config. All the configuration you want to change it, just change it here. And then you will see inside this one folder got created, which is called config tab. And then we will run our another command, which is move then. And then you will see this folder got changed to this. And then this is the file we just needed. And that's what we have copied into our shared directory here. And then now we have created a config, but we need to push this config. Then we will go to our domain controllers. We will create new group policy, which I have already created. CFM Uber config. I will go through with the settings actually. It's quite easy to do this. Then here we need to just configure central configuration path here. I have defined the path for the network share, which is, you don't need to write the file name. It will automatically pick it up. And I have enabled configured through group policy. Nothing else I have configured, just two settings, because the rest of the configuration is in my configuration bundle. And then I will place this policy on this my OU where my server is residing. For me, my DDC lab DDC 101 server is in DDC 01 folder OU. And I have placed this policy here. I will go on the server. What I need to do is just in GP update/force. I've already installed the Citrix Uber 7.4 agent on this. So the agent is there. Right now, if you look, there is no config on this file, this server actually at the moment. It is blank because we haven't done it manual config. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to do a GP update/force in the command prompt. And then we will see the log file and we can analyze it, what is happening. When you do a GP update/force, it will copy, or you have to wait. Updating policy. Computer policy has been applied. And then I will go to the service. The service is stopped. So what I will do, I will just start the service. If you want to verify, you can do rsop.msc to verify the setting has come in. But I know the setting has come. I've tested before. So now I'm restarting a Citrix Uber service. Service has, make sure service is restarting. Sorry, started up. There is no problem. If there is some problem, the service will not start. And then I need to look, okay, what is happening actually. First look the log file. So see Windows tab, there is a log file created for Uber agent. You can read this log file and it says my config is here and it is got copied to the cache. See the cache directory. So config is not in if you do it manually, you have to have config in C program data configuration, pass limits and Uber agent and configuration folder. But if you use CCFM, the configuration will go to the config cache. And then you can see all the values which has been posted in. There are a lot of settings. Actually, you can read it. If you have some problems, you will see the logs here. This is the only way to troubleshoot it. You have configuration cache temp file as well if you want to read it. Yeah. Mm. And then we look, okay, where is my configuration came now when we use CCFM? So it's in vast limits, obey data. It's not here. No, it's not here. It's not manual installation. And it's in config cache. You will see the cache has an folder. The folder name is 2, but when if you're doing first time, it will be 1, and it will change. The number will change according to the how many time configuration you will push. 3, 4, 5, 6. It will carry on go up in this series. And then inside this, we have configuration. So this configuration going to extract it from our bundle, and then it is started reporting data to the. That's what is only quick. And this CCFM way you can use on many servers via one GPU. That makes easy. You don't have to do a configuration manually on each machine. That makes it very easy. And this is my Splunk server. Let's see what's happening. But remember, if you have issue, read the log file. You will get total help what is the problem, and you will be able to sort it out. Yes, one more point. When you're creating a network share, make sure that network share has access to the machine names, because Uber agent service is running with a system account, not a user account. So if you don't have, if the machine does not have read access to that network share, the configuration will stuck. The Citrix Uber service will not start up. All right, so next video, I will talk about the data we are getting into the Citrix system. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Hello, friend. If you don't want to use Windows GPU, Citrix has enabled a feature in Citrix policies. So you can also use CCFM configuration way in via Citrix policy. For this, you need to go to the Citrix Studio, Web Studio, go to the policies, create policies. And then in this policies, you will search for the Uber. Then you have settings, which you can enable it. You can integrate with director. Here you can define the path for where is the archive file bundle is. And then license file you can also place on the network and define the path here. And this is the way, and then you can target this policy on delivery group level, with the different filters, OU delivery groups, so that you can have different based of configuration via Citrix policies to the delivery groups for the Citrix Uber agent configurations, CCM FM archive file configuration. Then you don't need to create multiple GPUs for Windows GPUs for Uber configuration. That's the one way, another way of doing it, actually, I would say. Thank you. Hello, friend. So in this series, we will look how we can monitor NetScaler with Citrix Uber. So as we have a NetScaler running in the environment, we have a Splunk server running, we have a machine where we would configure the Uber config file, and because you cannot connect Splunk directly with the NetScaler with the Uber, then you need a mediator, middle server, which will talk to the NetScaler and pass those logs to the Splunk. So I have one machine which is already reporting to the Splunk server, and I have configured the configuration on this machine to talk to the NetScaler. The ports are open, port 80. If you want to use 443, you need to have a communication open from this machine to the NetScaler on port 443. But let's look into this what we need to do on the configuration side. So On this local machine where I have the Splunk Uber agent installed, we have to go to the configuration, and then we have to open the uber agent.config file, and in this file section we will go down to the ADC section. It is little bit in the down, so where it is, so here it is. So you need to create some lines. You need to look for the section called Citrix AD_config into the config file, and then create entries for server, username, NSRead, and password. Yeah, this is the test, and we are not using HTTPS, so this value has to be false. And the Citrix ADC information is true because I want to collect all the information from ADC, not only DDC only. There are some parameters you can read, like here. So now we have set this, but we need to create this username on Netscaler, and yeah, set the password and then proper access so that this username can read Netscaler. You know, the Uber can use this account to read Netscaler data. And to do this, I will go to my Netscaler, which is already running. There are commands you can use to create add users with Netscaler, and but let's go via GUI. So on the Netscaler side, we go to the system and we go to the user administration and the user. I've already added one username called NSRead, and I can show you how we did this actually. So we go to an add, and I can do another user NSRead test, and then we set the password for this. Confirm the password, and then we don't need to do anything. We keep the default value. We need to uncheck the enable external authentication here. In allowed management, you can use CLI and API, but I will use both CLI and API. Allowed interface, then create, and then I need to go to the system command policies, and then I need to go to the select policies, and then I need to set which kind of roles I need on this. So I need an read-only roles for this account, so I will select this, and then I will have this, and then bind it and save it. Simple and done. So now we have an account. This is how I created an NSRead account, and this is the same procedure for NSRead test. There is no differences. You can see the properties, and then we configure this account into the Uber config file. This is what we just need to do on the Netscaler. You don't forget to save it, otherwise if the Netscaler reboots, your user account will be gone. And now if we look into our Splunk data, and I think we are getting data for Netscaler in our Splunk system. Yeah, so if I go to the Netscaler system, we will talk about all the reports in our last series, but here we look into Netscaler. We have apps, so we select the Uber agent UXM app, and then we go to the SPC and VDI, then we have Netscaler. There are 4 kind of reports we have for Netscaler. So we go to the Netscaler inventory, and we would see that this is reporting we could see the Netscaler is reporting data to the Citrix Uber, and this Uber is reporting back to the Splunk. So this is my Netscaler system, and we can see this is virtual appliance, and we can see what is the name. You can match the name. It's LB Lab NS02 and the same. And there are a lot of reports. If we click on this, it will open a new tab, and there are a lot of reports on this. So we will talk about all the reports and tabs. If you have any traffic on the Netscaler, all the data will be shown here. Actually, it's very good tool for collecting everything. I hope this was useful, and we have another series for how we monitor browser actually, browser traffic in Citrix Uber. You can see there a lot of data is being reported from Netscaler. So whatever configuration you have, traffic you have, this will be reported back to the Netscaler. All right. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Hello, friend. So in this short video, we will talk about monitoring browser traffic via Citrix Uber agent, and it's quite easy. If you want to enable monitoring for browser, it could be Edge, Chrome, and there are other supported browser which you can find in applications. So it supports Internet Explorer and as well. And to do this, simply you need to install the plugin for a browser on your machine for which machine you want to monitor it. The best way to find this information is on the Citrix Tech Zone. You can get it and then look for the section called installing the Edge browser extension, and then you will find a link. You can install the extension from Chrome Web Store. There it is, and I have already installed it, but if you don't have installed it, will give you an option to install extension, and then you will click on install and it will get installed. And this is only when you're installing manually, but if you need to install on multiple machines and you don't want to do it manual work, you can follow the document which is below. You need to call the Citrix supports and get the CRX file from them, or use online CRS extractor for that files, and then use Microsoft GPO settings for pushing the extension. You can look, there are whole information is available here. It's quite easy but tricky. You would be able to do it with the following the instructions. Once you have enabled this, you would see this, you have an extension. You can go in here in the browser, and then you will see you have an extension which is installed. Uber. So after extension is installed, you will start seeing the data actually for the browser. What user is browsing in the browser, how was the user experience when he was visiting some website, CPU memory, GPU uses, or how many tabs he was having, and how much resources were used by which tab. So in quick, you will go to the application section, and then you will go to the application web app performance, and we can look into the last week report. There are some data available here and there based on how much I have used this lab, but yeah, you can see that data is here, and I have browsed these websites, and how much page load was, how much it took time, and all thing is here. And if you click on any of the link, you will see more information down below actually. All the related information links will open actually. And another is, so yeah, you can go more deep down if you want to go. Click on this and the more information will open again in the bottom, and you can see page loads and information. So it's very useful information, but it depends. Do you really want to track down what user is doing in the browser? Could be some company security policy doesn't allow it, so you have to be little aware when you enable it. And next is web app uses, and here you will be able to see the top uses, processes on the browser, and few more information is here actually. It's populating, it's taking time a little bit, but yeah. Let's wait for the information, and I can see it's started populating up actually. So I can see web app, how many websites were browsed, and yeah, average load time and everything. So you could definitely look how is the user experience for the user when it's using browser, and then you can also go browser performance actually. This reports. Yeah, and then here you can see CPU memory and other uses for the browser. Here it is. Mhm. So these are the browser apps and how much it has used resources actually. Mhm. So those all information is available, and yeah, it is a good tool to monitor the user experience with the browser. You can do install extension for the Chrome as well. There are different instructions for pushing Chrome extension via GPO, and yeah, other ways, other methods. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for it, the channel. Thank you. Hello, friend. So now this is our final series for the Citrix Uber, and we will look into the reporting section. We will go through with some of the reports where the data has been populated actually, but yeah, we will see what data is there. But yeah, there are many reports and there's a very lot of useful information. So when you will go with your experience score overview, you will see a consolidated report based on scoring actually machine, user, session, applications, all will be displayed here actually shortly. And if your environment is being monitored with Uber and your environment is degrading performance, you will see the score numbers will go down, so you know something is not going well actually in the environment. So this is very useful to see overall environment health and status. Then we have machine scores, session scores, and these are the sub scores reports from there. Then we have machine performance in another section. Here you can see all the CPU uses for the machine, and and everything based on time intervals you can select. There is a GPU report, performance counter report, network communication report for the machine. We can go in there. Let's see what's happening on the network side, throughput and everything. Then we have machine uptime reports. Is there network issues? Then you can see in the reports. Blue screen reports, machine inventory, machine storage. Then we have session section actually. Session section you can see overview session reports. So yeah, here is so I have one user for which I have already opened the reports actually here. Then you can see what this user was doing, what processes were used in the how many sessions user had in this time duration, what are the process were used in his session. And then if you click on this, then you will see a new report, and that will point you to the particular application users report. That's something you can also access from here indirectly. Application network communication reports is also available here. Yeah, you can see from which target and so source and destination port were used by edge application, and so an application section we have also a lot of reports, application performance report, application error reports, application response time reports when they were hang, or there was delay in the user data, application input delay, application startup reports, application network communication reports. Yeah, and if I click on here, I could see that data will start populating here actually. Source ports, host, target host, destination, and how much resource were used, packet received and everything. So, and the application inventory, application uses, you have process reports as well. There are boot duration, boot delay. There are many reports available actually. If you have Citrix side, you can integrate Citrix side with this. You can see NetScaler report as well. I think we would have last week data because we haven't powered up our NetScaler afterwards in the today or sometime. Yeah. You can see how many net scaler you're monitoring in the list here, and then you can click on this. You can see instances and internal data from the net scaler will populate here actually. So there are some classes for the net scaler you can do monitoring for. You can drill down. There are a lot of reports on net scaler actually. Virtual server performance, gateway performance, inventories. Then if you have Citrix session, you can like we have a remote session report. If you are launching Citrix and you have an ICA session, you can see those protocol insights report as well. Even in session, you will see the ICA session as well here, and then you can go down and look all the users as we look for the RDP session. Then we have session input reports, user logon duration. You can see GPOs, breakups, then log of duration. There are a lot of information available in the reports, and this is very useful. And you can definitely configure monitoring alert. And as I said, the main dashboard will give you good information about if something is going wrong in your environment and your environment information is uh, yeah, environment performance is degrading. So those will reflect in the bench report. I would say you should try and POC for this tool, and I have been implementing this for some of the. I have already implemented for some of the customer, and will be implementing it more for other customers. I see a great value of this tool, and which you get along with the Citrix licenses, and it has a very good integration with Citrix Cloud. In my last project I did, and Netscaler, and you can do you have an integration with a desktop director, and yeah, you can get a lot of automation reports in this as well. You can see the licensing status, as I said, and there also is one report which I like. It's sizing, SVC sizing and capacity report actually. Here it tells you about how much your environment is used, and do you need more resources, is in crunch and everything. Yeah, so play around with the tool, and it's easy to set up. You can follow the whole tutorial, and I hope you would be able to set it up. If you have any query, you can come back to me. And thanks for watching my whole series, and have a nice evening. And don't forget to subscribe. The next series will be about Scout. So yeah, keep watching.